Greetings, Flesh Wound Horror freaks, and welcome to Flesh Wound Horror Live. I am joined tonight, as always, by producer Todd.
Good evening.
And Mike Kruger.
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
So, we are here today to review several, hopefully awesome new movies. We'll see. We also, tonight, will have a special post show on Patreon, patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures. It all starts at just $1. And we will have a special secret review for you patrons on there. It's one that I think you'll be very curious to hear about.
Don't give too much away, Dan.
It's a top secret.
Yeah, I know. Don't.
I gave nothing away. I said top secret review.
And we'll have TV Terror Talk at the end tonight.
Yeah,
yes.
For the 5th season of Slasher, since it just finished up.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, we got all that coming your way. But we did have a few talking points we wanted to hit today. One, I'm a disaster movie junkie, and I believe, Todd, you are to a certain degree.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Kruger never really talked disaster movies with you. I don't know if that's a genre
I could give
you're
a
into.
fuck about them.
You didn't like San Andreas?
Do you think I watched that shit, Todd? Come on now.
San Andreas is probably the best movie Rock ever did, and it's not. That's not saying a ton.
Rampage, hands down.
That'd be my second.
You know what's funny about those two? They're kind of interchangeable. They all like kind of mesh in my head as the same movie.
Oh, what? Rampage and San Andreas? Well, does he basically play the same character?
Yes. In every movie he's in, yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have a point there. I mean, to be fair, he had a little range when he was playing the Tooth Fairy.
We were. Now we're 1 like away from 1,000. Thank you, Cardboard Enthusiasts.
Shout out, Cardboard. What's up?
If you're watching now and you haven't liked us, come on. We need to hit 1,000.
Yeah, come on. You can be the one in 1K. There you go. We'll even make a special T-shirt for you, maybe. If you can prove it was you. We'll see.
Well, it's not hard. Now, Dan's going to buy you a T-shirt even though he can't buy one himself.
Yeah, this motherfucker doesn't even have a blue house.
It's probably not the time for me to bring it up, Kruger.
I'm getting ripped.
Feed the fire.
Do that.
What?
I don't want to feed the fire and remind you of that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways. To the disaster movies. Now, this one, I'm kind of excited, kind of not, because we're getting a sequel to the 1996 disaster movie classic Twister, this time to be called Twisters. How clever is that?
Hey, it worked for Alien, so don't go too hard yet.
Now, I would have taken that this was just a cash-in and it's going to be some direct-to-video thing. It is supposedly going to be a big screen film from Universal and starring a bunch of people that I really haven't heard of, but Kiernan Shipka from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Sasha Lane, blah, blah, blah. Somebody from that Mandalorian crap. But no big names. And nobody that I can tell that was in the original movie. Of course, Bill Paxton's dead. And I'm not that interested. Bring Helen Hunt back at least.
I don't even care.
I mean,
they're not going to. She's too old to bring her back into Hollywood. Come on. You know better than that.
It's Twister. She can be somebody's mom, Todd.
You don't know she's not going to pop up, Dan. If she's going to be the surprise, they're not going to put it out there and then just have her show up for one frame at the end.
And why are you shit talking Helen Hunt? She still does nudity, Todd. Did you see The Sessions?
I don't want to see
The Sessions. Mr. Skin, The Sessions.
No, thank you.
Awesome.
I don't want to see 2023 Helen Hunt titties. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not 2023.
If she didn't show them in Trancers 2, I'm good.
She sits on John Hawk's face.
No, she couldn't show them for Charlie. I'm not interested.
Well, she shows more than that in The Sessions, and The Sessions is awesome. But yeah, I mean, there's other people you could bring back from that movie too. I mean, I don't know. I was like, oh, I'm excited. Now I'm not, but maybe they still will. Cardboard Enthusiast. If anybody deserves the 1K, it's the show. You guys work harder than ugly strippers. You know my philosophy on strippers, don't you? Somebody.
You don't mess with them anymore. Isn't that the new philosophy?
Oh, well, yeah. but
Okay.
free. Giving it away free, Tad. But yeah, I don't know. I saw that and I was like, it's a disaster movie. I'll probably still see it, but there's so many people you can bring back. I'm trying to remember who is still standing at the end of that, but there were
Ben Grimm said they're shooting Twister 2 in the city. They had ads for extras, but you had to be on call for weeks.
Oh, Ben. That would have been awesome to see you in that, Ben. And also shout out, busy chat tonight. Orc, Ghost, Pop's been in here. Anybody else I missed? Yeah, shit. I keep forgetting you're down that way. Yeah, that would be really cool to be in a Twister movie. But you remember Tornado?
Twister right now. Yes, the good Twister movie.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell. It came out like I want to say like that same week. Yeah. They dropped Tornado with Bruce Campbell on. I think it was an NBC movie. I could be wrong.
Was it NBC?
It was one of the main. I don't remember, but
yeah, because then I think it went to Sci-Fi, which would make sense because NBC owns.
Yeah, there's a one. I want to say it's Devil Wins about twisters and a satanic cult. That is pretty fun. So yeah, that's
Devil Wind.
I think it's Devil Wins or something like that. I could be wrong on the name. I just remember it was like a satanic cult inside of a disaster movie scenario. There's a lot, but we'll see it. We'll review it. AMC A-list. Obviously, we're gonna go see it. The other bit,
yeah, because tomorrow Dan's gonna go see Fast X just to review it, just for you.
I will not be seeing Fast X. I checked out.
But I heard they added The Rock to it.
The Rock? I thought he and Vin Diesel were like enemies now, and they were.
I heard they made up and added a post-credit something. I don't know. And I think that's why it went from 2 more movies to 3, because now it's the final trilogy. First, it was the final movie. Then it became the final 2-part movie, and now it's the final trilogy. Now that they got The Rock back, I think 3 more and we're done. Then then it's going to be the Peacock show. Watch. You know what?
Just going to call it family.
We've had this real problem with street racing in LA the past couple days. So I don't know if this Fast and Furious is a good idea. Maybe we can we could do the Satanic Panic with those stupid movies.
Dude, I wish, because I'm fucking sick of hearing about Fast and Furious. The only thing I like about those movies is some of the memes we get out of them.
Well, you get a whole new batch coming up in a week or so.
Yeah.
I hope this one tanks. I really do. I just want them to stop.
You got 3 more. And then I'm guarantee you it's going to be a series, because that's all the money they could be making on Peacock.
3 more is still at least 3 years or more. So that's still a lot of torture.
I know.
I can't stand. It's just like, it's the most badass thing ever. I'm like,
I don't even think those people exist anymore.
Oh, they do.
Even them, they know that it's just
stupid as fuck. Yeah.
The space one exposed it to a lot of people. Like, I don't think there is that. If Paul Walker died in this one, I don't think you'd have the dudes crying like you did back in the other one.
That still is the funniest thing in the world to me.
Fucking cholos all tatted up, fucking balling.
I make no secret that I hate my brother's wife, and I had to see that movie with her. She's bawling. Now, when I say crying, I'm not talking like tearing up at a movie. She's bawling at the end of that thing. And I see grown fucking men with tattoos on their head crying at the fucking Fast and the Furious movie.
Dad's like, I only did that when Spock died, you cocksucker.
Spock came back. Paul Walker ain't coming back. Yeah, that's sorry.
He was in the new one.
That was lame as shit. I'm literally looking around and there are grown men crying. Like, we're not watching Schindler's List, guys. Like,
you definitely don't cry during that movie, motherfucker.
Ben said, they went to space in 9. I always put it like this: since this is a franchise that is 100% a ripoff of Point Break, be like in fucking Part 9, fucking Patrick Swayze swerving in fucking space. The fuck out of here. Sorry.
So I don't know. Isn't Brie Larson in that shit? Now, what the hell is Brie Larson doing in the Fast
They
and the
put
Furious
everyone in
movie?
those fucking Helen Mirrens in them and shit.
I must have checked out before Mira.
Oh yeah,
informed me
no,
this.
she's like in like the wait, which one's Mirren? No, what's the other one? What's the one in The Cook, the Thief, the Wife, and Her Lover? That's Helen Mirren. Okay, yeah. I was thinking I was her and Judi Dench sometimes, old British people.
Well, Dame Judi Dench in a fucking Fast and the Furious movie doesn't make much sense. I just want that
what Helen Mirren does.
Either one. That stupid fucking promo where they're all getting out of the car and you got Dame Judi Dench. I mean, what is she, like some white supremacist gang leader? She's got like a fucking like gang signs carved.
Well,
into
now
her head.
That's how you get me in to see Fast 11.
I mean,
why the fuck are we talking about the Fast and Furious this much?
Because Todd started it. Well, let's talk about something. Let's talk about something important, because this person is definitely a Fast and the Furious fan, and that is Cool Duder. What the fuck is up with Fangoria? Cool Duder's getting a Chainsaw Award nomination. What the fuck?
What is it for?
It's for Amityville Karen.
No.
I think.
What category? Oh my god, Dan, you're gonna rant, not even know what you're ranting about.
They did some stupid Amityville category, which is stupid.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think it's an Amityville category.
You don't even fucking know,
Jesus
Dan.
Christ, you son
I
of a
don't need to
bitch.
read it. He's nominated. That's bad
I don't
enough.
need to know.
Fangoria.
Yes, it's best Amityville.
Okay, well
And-
now I need to know
Okay, I got you. Amityville Christmas Vacation, Amityville in Space, Amityville Karen, Amityville Scarecrow 2, and Amityville Uprising.
It's a bad category when I'm about to say Amityville in the Hood got snubbed.
That's funny.
I guess that goes to Uprising, but that's the kind of a dumb category.
Yeah. Now, see, they gave that the easy win. Like if they wanted to make it the fucking hard win, they would have thrown in the Hood.
Yeah, my God.
That tells you how bad it was if that one would have got my vote.
I bet Cool Duder both cried during Fast and the Furious and when he got his nomination.
Doesn't that mean he's double nominated? Because isn't he in Amityville in Space too?
I don't know. He pops up in everything.
It's your boy.
Not my boy. I've been in 2 movies with him, but I never worked with him. He shoots his shit himself. That's why he's in a lot of shit, if people aren't aware.
He does the Lloyd Kaufman style.
Pretty much, yeah. He's very rarely, yeah. But
magazine getting those calls. He's like, I could be your Cool Duder.
I would be cooler than Cool Duder, Todd.
There you go, Dan. Your new Twitter handle should be Cooler Duder.
Oh, yes. He is now Cool Doofus, and I am Cooler Duder.
There you go.
There you go. Hashtag cool
Okay, what
Doofus.
else are we talking about before we start reviewing?
Fucking no.
Oh, one other cool thing. Well, maybe the only cool thing we talked about so far.
First cool thing.
I'm going to follow this movie because I think it's really cool. It's called The Slave and the Sorcerer, and it's described as a gore-filled 80s throwback that pays tribute to Deathstalker, Beastmaster, and Sword and the Sorcerer. It's coming from Hex Studios, which is a British company and inspired by companies like Canon, AIP, and Hammer. And they've unleashed the official poster. It looks really cool. And they're talking about practical effects. It's going to really be a throwback to those films, sexy, gory. It's been quoted. You might describe our film as Deathstalker meets Evil Dead. I'm all in on that. And it's due to come out in the winter of 2023. The Slave and the Sorcerer. I talk about this a lot. I really miss the style of the fantasy, sword and sandal, sword and sorcery films of the 80s. And I'm all in on this one. I really hope it ends up being something special. I'm sure they don't have a ton of money, but that's shit. And I know it's yours too, Todd.
Yeah. I am looking forward to it. And you just told me
Yeah.
today, but I am.
Yeah, no, I am I am pretty excited. And shout out Jess Graham. Yes, subscribe, please. We appreciate it. Other than that, the only last bit of news I have is Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 is going to be filming this fall. Really excited. Apparently, they're getting a bump up in budget, which I think will help it. And yeah, I was surprised how much I enjoyed that last one. I had a lot of fun with it. So
Yeah.
I think we might be getting the Peter Pan one that they're doing before the sequel. So
the Peter Pan one's supposed to come out in like August, I think.
Now, is that the one, or is it a different movie where like Tinkerbell's like 350 pounds and she's like in a trailer park killing people? Is that theirs, or is that something somebody else is doing?
I think it's separate.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to have to figure out where I heard that, because apparently that's coming too. So we'll see.
That's the first I've heard of that. But
me too, but I'll watch it.
That sounds awesome. I hope I didn't create it in my own head and it's like just something.
And you just gave away the idea down, Dan, and now everyone.
Now somebody's going to
take it. I'll sue. I shall sue. All right.
Okay. Go.
Yeah.
Move on.
Can't take my Tinkerbell idea. God damn it. All right. So moving on to our first review of the evening, which is The Oregon Trail from 2023. Brand new movie. And all right. So Oregon Trail is from director Michael Patrick Jan. And this follows pardon me one moment here. I'm just having a technical issue with my computer here. But this film follows a young Abigail Archer, alone in the Montana winter during the 1870s, who fights for survival and to retrieve her one earthly possession, a family horse from a gang of bloodthirsty bandits. So this is was described as a horror western survival movie. I wouldn't really call it a horror movie, and it's also not based on the video game. There's apparently an Oregon Trail video game involving zombies. This has nothing to do with that. So yeah, it's not really a horror movie, but it's a very violent western that does have some grotesque elements, particularly when we get to the end. This movie, you're about 27 minutes in before the credits hit. It kind of takes a big turn, and I actually had a lot of fun with this one. We get a couple notable actors in here: Sam Trammell from True Blood, Thomas Lennon from Reno 911, and I like westerns a lot. This is a beautiful looking film. I believe they actually did shoot it in Montana, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a little bit long. It runs almost 2 hours, but I never felt bored. It's actually really gritty and violent and pretty crazy. There's one character, one of basically Sam Trammell's main henchmen, who doesn't feel pain. And that's where kind of some of the more grotesque elements come in. I don't want to sell it as a horror movie because it's really not, but he's one nasty, evil son of a bitch, and I really enjoyed him. All the characters are very well developed. Zoe DeGrand Mason, who plays Abby, I know I've seen her in some other stuff. She's really good. It's really cool characters. A lot of fun, but really just more of a Western revenge film than anything else. But it does deliver for the gorehounds. There's one bit where a character, I'll just say, shoots a gun straight into the air that I thought was really clever and fun. I really liked it. Now, I'm kind of curious, Kruger, what you would think.
Nope.
Oh, sorry. My bad, Kruger. Todd, what did you think?
Are you curious what I think? What
I'm
do you
thinking
think I
you
think?
like this one.
I'm thinking I wasn't really in the mood for a Western, and I was kind of on it. And then the fact that it wasn't really a horror film,
It's
like,
not. It's definitely
but
not.
the gore, the ending got me. I did like it. I just I don't know. I was in the mood for a horror Western. It's not exactly what I got. So, and that's the way it was promoted. So, kind of a little disappointed. But overall, it was a solid movie. Just not what I was not expecting what I was going in for, or not going into what I was expecting. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of thought that there was going to be some sort of, I don't know, cannibal element or something. I don't know, some supernatural threat that they'd stumble into. And that's not what this is. But I thought it was actually a pretty kick-ass Western, which is rare because a lot of low-budget Westerns, you know, the good ones are few and far between these days, but I definitely count this among one of the better ones. It doesn't hit that level of a Burrowers or a Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty kick-ass, dude. Like, I will definitely buy this when it comes out. I wouldn't go as far as to call it a classic, but the fact that I think every character had their own sort of, I mean, they were very well developed and interesting. And, you know, I hated the villains. I rooted for our protagonists. I dug it. If you're a Western fan, I would say go out of your way to see it. I know this had some limited theatrical play when I was down there in California.
It was that week when you were out here. It was at Cinemark theaters.
Yeah, I actually regret that we didn't get to make it to it now because I dug it.
I think if I would have experienced in a theater fully focused, like even though I was like focused and watching it, it's still a different environment. And you could focus so much better in a theater.
Yes. Too much Feruza shit talking going on in this chat.
If we hit 1,000, I will post a picture of Dan with Feruza from LA.
It's got to maintain though. No more like we jump like 1,000 subs so somebody can see me hurt. God damn it.
Well, no, they still want the fucking the library tour to count your movies.
Yeah, we have to figure out how.
No, they want you to count your movies in one stream.
Oh well, I can't promise that because that's just not going to be possible.
You just keep going. You don't stop.
Yeah.
But this movie, I thought it was kick-ass. Could have maybe been trimmed a little bit, but again, I wasn't bored. I didn't feel like nothing was going on. So.
It wasn't, but that I still feel like the runtime could have been shortened.
Where do you guys think I'll land on it?
I think you'll like the gore, but I don't know other than that.
Well, you're gonna find out on a special Patreon exclusive Kruger's Corner coming up. So
there you go.
Dan promised to lick a gassed up Chucky disco 1K.
Damn. I mean, here's the thing. I will whore myself out and do something stupid, but we're already.
You always say that. You say that, and every time we do, you're like, "Oh, well, I can't do the."
Go back to
little excuse.
Go back
every
to the
time.
Stream when we were in the car. I said if we hit 1K that night, I would let, I guess, Danielle or whoever hit.
Yeah, that was See,
we didn't hit 1K,
but that's because you knew you only accept the challenge. You know that you won't there's no chance
doable. It was doable. I mean, it would have been like 30 whatever at that point, but it wasn't impossible if enough people want to see me get hit with.
But now that it is possible,
well, yeah, we're one away.
Well, why is you getting hit with a light tube so fucking special when I fucking go and do it all the goddamn time?
I know, but look at this face.
Because let's say.
So you're saying I'm ugly, motherfucker?
I'm not saying that. I was
going to say, Kruger, don't worry. We'll get a certain worker who has a good track record with the light tubes to get him good.
Damn, Todd.
He's going to have a second pussy. Or maybe, I guess.
Damn, Todd. Second pussy? What are we talking about here, Todd? I'm not aware of any pussy that I have.
You're.
So I don't know what's going on, Todd. But fuck you, Todd. What do you rate it, Todd?
Oh, I'm a 3.
Okay, I'm a 4. I actually
Okay.
like this one a lot. If you're a Western fan, check it out.
I'm looking for that
Yeah.
photo right now, just so they're ready. Hit 1,000 during the show.
Yeah, you probably will.
But-
You probably will.
By the
All right.
way, I looked it up, and it is the Peter Pan movie that's coming out. It's called Neverland Nightmare.
And that's the one with the
Yeah, with the obese
Okay.
Tinkerbell fucking recovering
Oh,
from drug
okay.
addictions.
drug.
Yeah, she's an obese recovering drug addict. So
I'm so curious. Like, is she just Tinkerbell in her head? Was she literally Tinkerbell? I mean,
that's a good question.
we need answers to this. We need to get.
Well, you'll find them out when the fucking movie comes out.
I know.
Man, I think that photo is on my other phone that got wiped. Motherfucker.
Fuck you, Todd.
Way to
besmirching Feruza like that. That's what you get.
Wait, it might have went up on my OneDrive. Sorry, I'm gonna research. Sorry. What do we have next, Dan?
All right. Up next, we have a film that I got to watch down there with Todd from writer-director Mark Jenkin, and it is Enys Men. And in this film, set in 1973 on an uninhabited island off the Cornish coast, a wildlife volunteer's daily observations of a rare flower turn into a metaphysical journey that forces her as well as the viewer to question what is real and what is nightmare. All right, so I'm going to go last on this one because I'm kind of curious. Hot tag to whoever wants to go.
Todd.
I'm sorry. I was researching. Go for it, Dan.
Oh, all right. I'll go.
No, it's fine. Fucking. So for me, I thought the trailer looked cool, looked creepy. And there was definitely a lot of like scenery I liked in this movie. Thought the cinematography was great, but it's just for me, I thought it was a little like too slow, especially in certain stretches in the middle. I mean, it does come to like a climactic ending, but it takes a while to get there. I wasn't completely thrilled with what the story did give me. I can see people that like these artsy, scenic, mainly one location horrors, liking this movie. But for me, I was kind of just in the middle. I definitely felt like it was more style over substance in the end, and was a little bit disappointed because I thought the trailer looked really good. But overall, I'm just kind of like middle of the road on this.
Okay. Yeah, so I've talked about this on the show before. I'm a big fan of coastal horror, anything involving a lighthouse or just seaside horror in general. We've had a lot of it. This has been kind of the year of experimental horror, and depending who you ask, a lot of those films have not lived up to expectations, but it's been the year of Skinamarink, Beau is Afraid. Not this year, but I believe last year we had We're All Going to the World's Fair.
Outwaters too.
Outwaters and the companion films. Another one I would throw out there, a little less experimental, but still weird, and I loved it. Caveat from a few years ago. Kind of another, somewhat similar movie. So Enys Men is translated as Stone Island. If people are just wondering what the hell was up with the name. First of all, the look of the film, I think they nail that. It does more or less look like an experimental film that would have been made in the 70s with all the film grain.
Looks like Anthropophagus to me. That's what I thought even when I saw the trailer.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. They nail the look perfect. And what really inspired this was the Merry Maiden Stone Circle in Cornwall, particularly the Pipers, which are two really freaky stones in the circle that kind of inspired the director to make this. Very much an experimental horror film. You're watching this woman's routine kind of repeat more or less over and over for the first 30 or 40 minutes. Then you start noticing subtle changes. If I'm pitching it to somebody, I would say it's a ghost story. Definitely not a straightforward narrative. It uses symbolism, kind of the past trauma of the island itself, almost just kind of boiling over. It's what you want it to be. It's really an interpretive movie. There's no way for me to explain exactly what this movie's about or what it is, but experimental horror is a toss-up for everybody. I liked it. Now, I think there's more to it than A Skinamarink, personally, which I did not love that film. This one, I did enjoy it. I watched it twice, and I still enjoyed it, just to kind of make sure with this one. I'm not going to call it a new classic, and that's kind of been sad this year because we don't have a lot of classics yet this year. But I did enjoy it.
I don't think you get classics every year. It's not 1982.
The last few years,
which I was going to say, which was the last couple. But in general, you're not getting classics every year. You may have a really good film, but that's throwing around classics way.
I don't know. I'd say there's at least one a year, one or two.
But time will tell. That's just, to me, that's jumping a gun. You can't really call it a classic your first year, can you?
Well.
Yeah, true. But
I guess it's perspective thing with that one.
No, I see what you're saying. It can't really be a classic unless you've gone and revisited it over and over and over again over time.
Yeah, because honestly, there's something like you may really like right now, and then just So yeah, but definitely really good. Now this one, it was more just really cool visuals, and I think the film grain and the look, I didn't love it, but I was interested the whole time. It wasn't like Skinamarink where I was like, I want to leave the theater. I've never wanted to leave the theater. That was probably about an hour in and nothing had happened. I know, we disagree on this one, but so
this one I do feel, even though it's kind of up to your interpretation, there is at least stuff going on. You see what's going on screen. So I hate to ever throw out Skinamarink and make people think, oh, we're looking at the ceiling for 90 minutes.
I don't really find them comparable, though. Because Skinamarink is just more like a visual experience. This has actual story with characters in it. But I can't even compare the two.
They're both experimental.
That's why they get compared.
I get the experimental, but we've seen stuff like this before, over the last couple. It's just an artsy way of telling a story. With Skinamarink, there wasn't like a story going on. It was more of a visual auditory experience.
Yeah. No, I get that. I do want to shout out Mary Woodbine, the star, as well. I thought she was really great in this. Even the actors, it's hard to make something that you can look at and truly believe you're watching something that was made in that period. Usually somebody always looks too modern. I think, just every actor in here, I looked at every shot and it was like, okay, I feel like I'm watching a movie made in 1973, like some lost experimental film. And
it was believable.
Yeah, I dug it. You have to be into this type of film. And once again, I don't think there's a lot to debate with the movie as far as what it's about, because it is so interpretive. I don't think there's like a clear, straightforward answer for that. So if you're okay with that, I think it might be worth a look. So what say you guys? What do you rate this?
I'm a 3 on this one.
I'm a 2.5 out of 5.
I am a 3.5. I really dug it. So, let us know as always in the comments if you watched this, what you thought. I think Ben Grimm, you said you saw it. What did you think? I'm kind of curious, but Big
Ben,
TX, I like it. Oh, sorry. Big TX, I like. I don't know that I'm calling that a classic though, and I really like that movie, but I don't X.
X.
With Mia Goth.
I think we're gonna look back on those movies as some really interesting slashers.
Yeah.
Well,
Pearl,
now
I
it's
think,
good.
maybe.
A classic defined as a movie people talk about 20 years from now. I think I was thinking in my head like 10 years, but I mean, it's hard to argue one that hits 20.
I think, yeah, see, it's hard to define that though, because there's some classic like German expressionist horror films that for the most part aren't talked about much, but they're definitely classics.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean? Like we may in
I
another
get that.
20 years, is anybody talking about Gone with the Wind? Probably not a lot, if we're being honest.
No, it's going to still be, it'll still be talked about in film schools. I think stuff like that,
Yeah.
You're still going to have some, like you're getting more modern stuff taught in film schools, but it's, it's still.
I mean, it's all about personal preference, to be honest with you. Because like with me, I look back at movies from like the last almost 10, let's say 8, like, because in my head I'm thinking about Baskin right now, and I consider that movie a fucking classic that I'm going to revisit for years and years to come. Same with like The Void and stuff. Like those movies are like I think even with like situations like with those movies, you're going to look back on those in 10 years and be like, holy shit, they were like really, really well made, interesting, parts of horror history, especially post 2000s horror history. Because I have like, I look back at like 80s movies and there's just so many that I could consider a classic. There's probably how many fucking slashers from 1980 to 1984 that were classics, and those were coming out like every single year, multiple a year.
Yeah.
But it took time for those to become classics too, though.
Yeah, no, it's subjective, but I think there's movies that are newer that you can already tell that in 10 years they're gonna fucking still hold up. Like something like The Void is fucking timeless. Like that movie's gonna be great for fucking 25 years.
I think Baskin for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll do a new classics show. That sounds like a fun list.
I would be really interested in talking about some of the best horror films from 2010 to like fucking now, because that like everybody talks about movies from the early 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, but like I always have that problem with people where they're like, there's nothing new that's good that comes out, and there's always like great shit that comes out every single year, I think.
Oh yeah. No,
you just, especially when you're like us and we watch literally fucking everything, like like almost every single new horror movie we usually watch, if it doesn't look like it's going to be complete garbage.
No, and even then,
sometimes
that doesn't stop us.
we get a lot of crap for sure, because we get a lot more of everything in general. But I've always said, I mean, we've been living in a golden era of horror for a while now.
Yeah, it's been, well, especially now with all the independent companies, doing it old school, like Spectrovision and fucking like stuff like that is like the fact that we have all these different companies, put A24, Neon, it's a great time to be a horror fan.
Fuck you, Todd. Classic, my nutsack.
We didn't talk about the trailer that dropped today either.
Oh, the Five Nights at Freddy's one?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
I didn't either, but I know it's going to happen eventually.
Should we watch it?
We can at the end. I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, we'll close it with the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer reaction. That sounds good.
Cool. Stay tuned for that. All right, moving on to our next film, which is from writer-director Donald Farmer, an underground indie horror legend at this point. And Debbie Does Demons follows. Debbie is the host of a paranormal ghost hunter show, but can she come to the rescue when 4 friends use a Ouija board to summon a 300-year-old witch? Good luck, Debbie. You're gonna need it. All right, so this film We've done a lot of recent reviews for some like no budget stuff. Brian Papandrea, hopefully I say his name right, because he did make what Todd considered his favorite movie of the year last year in Spooky Dookie. Rock Bottom Video, really churning out some really hilarious stuff. Gator Blade, of course, we're big fans here. That it's been actually a pretty good couple years for no budget trauma-esque horror.
We just had Satan Lives not too long ago from Sean Donahue.
Yeah.
Also starring Jessa Flux. That is our lead in this one.
Yes, Jessa Flux is popping up in a lot of stuff now.
I was going to say, Ben brought up Debbie is a Culture Shock release, which we should mention. Yeah, comes out at the end of the month through Vinegar Syndrome's partner label on the website. You can order it now. I think you can get it directly from Shock also. Mm-hmm. But he asked if we saw the Shock Culture tease for Up All Night release in 2 weeks. I did see that, and that's the only thing I know so far. It's Culture Shock's teasing something USA All Night, so find out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that'd be interesting if they could actually get the segments from
we know
USA Up All Night.
And I was going to say, they can only get one of the hosts, but
it is true. R.I.P. Gilbert Godfrey. That still sucks.
I think more people associate her with it than
Rhonda Shear. Yeah. I don't know.
I like both.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were magic together. But all right, Debbie Does Demons. So there are a lot of familiar indie faces. We've got Roni Jonah, who I believe I might be on a show with at some point, and maybe this week, I believe. Jessa Flux, of course, is sort of the new it girl when it comes to low budget horror movies. And also Dixie Gears, who we reviewed recently. She played Ethel in Crazy Fat Ethel. All very talented. So this is very much kind of like an old school Scream Queen movie vibe, as far as, similar to a Nightmare Sisters or Sorority Babes in the Slimeball Bowl-orama, really kind of going for that kind of vibe. Jessa is pretty much topless for most of her screen time. There's some fun little callbacks to the Karnstein trilogy and different things like that. I admire the tone that this movie struck, that kind of, like you said, USA Up All Night kind of goofy B-movie tone. I can't lie, I didn't love this movie. I kind of was left thinking they needed to give us a little bit more. In terms of like the gore, for example, that's pretty much non-existent. It's one of those movies where they probably just didn't have a lot of money to spend on it. There's scenes where like the witch touches somebody and it looks like they're just spitting out toothpaste. It's that sort of level. So it's definitely not one for the gore hounds. As far as the nudity goes, it is there. I wouldn't call it like an overly titillating movie or anything. It's not,
it's not a bump and grind film.
It's not a bump and grind film. The humor, I think Jessa Flux and most of the cast have that sort of fun, campy acting and attitude down for this kind of movie, but I can't say it ever really kind of got me to where I was really laughing. So I don't know. This one's kind of a shame for me because I wanted to like it more than I actually do. It just it doesn't quite work. It doesn't quite work, and I get what they were going for. I just
better than CGI blood. I'd rather have lack than yes. Is okay. I'm just gonna have to stop it. Is Debbie as good as the Shark Exorcist? Wait, was the Shark? Did we watch that one? No, I'm thinking of Sharkula. Never mind. I can't answer that question.
Well, it's better than Sharkula.
Yes,
I'll give you that much.
That was the one I was thinking of. I was gonna say absolutely.
I don't know. See, that's my issue with this. Like, I don't feel like it does anything. It doesn't stand out in any particular way. Jessa Flux is beautiful, but I can see, just as much of her in any other movie she's been in so far.
My thing with her is she's fun to watch acting wise. So I think with this cast in general, like I had a good time with the cast. And you have to be an SOV fan to really like get.
But I am an SOV fan.
I know, and that's why I'm kind of surprised you didn't like it. But I get what you're saying. There's nothing new, but I still think I'm glad I'm still getting my Blu-ray whenever it gets here. And I don't know. I still was able to have fun with it. I get what you mean. There's budgetary restrictions, but I mean, knew that one going in. So, and I've seen some of the other recent Donald Farmer stuff, and there's fun to be had with it. And this one I also thought was a good time.
Yeah,
it's not spooky dookie level out there, Ben. So just whoever, I'm not saying that spooky dookie's whole nother level, but
I think Rock Bottom Video and Gator Blades where it's at for me more than anything. They really
see the editing style of Rock Bottom. Oh my god, we're gonna have to revisit that now that I'm thinking.
No, definitely. But I don't know. I like Donald Farmer. I just didn't care for this movie.
That's all right. I mean, they're not all of them are for everyone. I mean, so what are your rating on this one then, Dan?
This one I can only give a 1, but like I said, maybe it'll hit for you more than it hit for me. You'll have to let us know as always in the comments. But what about you, Tad?
If I'm going off my enjoyment, I'm a 3. I mean, but I'm not saying the movie's, you know what I mean? It's not a 3. That's my enjoyment. And yeah, I think if you know Donald's films and you're going in and you haven't seen Jessa Flux, you want to, it's a good one to check out. I mean, I think she's in some other films I probably like more. Well, I do like more, but it's still it's still worth watch.
Okay. Yep, absolutely. And I'll
put that up, Cliff.
Do I even want to go and look?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So moving on to our next.
It doesn't like it's a
movie.
bad thing, though.
At least it wasn't what I thought it was. No, it's not a bad thing at all. Moving on to our next movie, which is. So I'm very, very curious with this one.
Okay. Did you follow instructions, Kruger? That's all I have to know.
Come on now.
Okay.
Of course I did.
All right. So before we get into it, our movie is Dr. Caligari from 1989. The
over there.
I guess pseudo sequel taking place 70 years after the 1920 film. And in this one, Miss Van Houten has shown signs of losing touch with reality, and her husband discusses possible treatment with Dr. Caligari, who says Miss Van Houten has a disease of the libido. The staff want Dr. Caligari removed from their facility due to her controversial experiments with electroshock and hypothalamus injections. As Dr. Caligari continues experimenting with her patients, her daughter and son-in-law attempt to stop her. All right, so just a little bit of backstory, because I'm not going to give my opinion first. I'm really curious to get Kruger's, but just a little bit of backstory. This is from the director Steven Saadian, who, if you're unfamiliar with that name, I know Todd knows the work. He is the director of one of the all-time cult classic adult films, Cafe Flesh, which did actually feature Michelle Bauer in her brief but memorable XXX run of movies back in the day. So he worked for Hustler magazine in the 70s, where he met Jerry Stahl, who's the co-writer on this film. And they ended up doing sort of a spin-off magazine called Slam Magazine, which was like kind of National Lampoons meets Hustler.
I was gonna ask if it was a wrestling magazine.
It was not a wrestling magazine, but it was cool. I never read it, so I can't, but I've heard of it. Maybe, I don't know, hit eBay at some point. But And they met, and that's kind of how this film came about. Dr. Caligari had become public domain, and they thought, okay, let's do a sequel of sorts. Once again, if you're unfamiliar with this movie. So before I start quoting the film, which I'm definitely going to do, Kruger, first time watch of Dr. Caligari, one of the wildest cult films ever made.
Before you go, I have to imagine like the first 15 minutes or so, you were cursing my name at least.
No.
Okay.
Really. No, I had watched The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. How the fuck do you say it? Caligari?
Yeah.
All right. Caligari, yeah. All right. So I had watched the original film right before this, which I had never seen. It was on my watch list forever because it's said to be one of the most influential horror films of all time. Was cool to watch. I liked it, didn't love it, but again, with silent films, I'm very, very picky. Like I like Nosferatu and The Lost World, but that's about it. And Haxan's good too. But then watching the sequel, I mean, I already knew I was in for fucking a trip right away within the first 10 minutes. So but luckily I was nice and inebriated, and the whole film is just kind of like one long fever dream. It's a really unique and unsettling watch. But I will say, if you don't like artsy horror or just artsy movies in general, you should probably stay away from this. But if you're into those trippy acid trip nightmarish experiences like I am, this is a real treat. The set and costume designs just are like extremely aesthetically pleasing, and lots of vibrant colors and good contrast of colors too. And almost every shot of this movie looks kind of like a painting, which I thought was really, really cool. Like you could take a screen grab from any scene in this movie and it looks like a piece of art, which is amazing. I was kind of surprised with all the gross body horror we got in this thing too. A lot of nasty like lesions on people that are oozing pus. There's this one patient that has her like tits stretched out super fucking long, which was random as fuck in the best way. And also this one scene where Miss Von Houten is making out with this oozing blob with this tongue fucking sticking. It was just a
tongue, yes.
Yeah, it's so bizarre, but so
there's a
triple
cool. X version where there's some actual yeah,
and then all the fucking dialogue just so bizarre, so random and unnatural, but it worked perfectly for what the movie was going for. And I can see like people being able to quote the fuck out of this thing, especially with the randomness. Like I think that's why it didn't bother me that it was just so all over the place and so weird, because there would be just a random line thrown in there that would just make me burst out laughing. And overall, I had a fucking great time with this thing. It definitely looks like it was ahead of its time too, because you do see a lot more artsy horror things, a lot of more artsy horror nowadays, kind of going for similar themes that this movie has. But this is one of my new favorites, and I'm glad I finally got around to watching it. But it's so bizarre how different it is from the original film. I mean, very loosely is it a sequel, but it does have a few of the same themes going on, which is nice too, that they still kept some of what the original film had going on in this movie as well.
Okay, I didn't think you'd like it at all, so I'm actually glad. I wasn't sure with this one.
There were very specific instructions for that movie.
Well, dude, all the fucking body, like, I mean, as soon as I started seeing fucking people with stretched out titties and pus oozing, I mean, I'm a David Cronenberg diehard, man. Like, yeah, I definitely was gonna like that stuff. I don't know why you think I wouldn't like this.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. Because it's not really a scary movie, but I mean, yeah, no, I'm glad you liked it. So this goes back for me. I saw this a little bit later for whatever reason. Like I didn't see it like immediately. It's not a movie that goes way back to my childhood. I think I was like 20 or something when I finally got to see it, something like that, early 20s. And Todd, I didn't know. Well, you wouldn't have met her, obviously, but do you remember well, that's not important. Let's just say I knew a girl and we were driving to a convention in Gettysburg, and I think it was Gettysburg. And she just randomly quotes, "My fuzzy button feels fluffy good." And I was like, what the fuck? And she started quoting lines from the movie, "I want your boy thing, twist it like a rubber band until it snaps." She just kept running it off. And I was just thinking, like, am I getting laid here? Because I don't understand what's going on right now. Like, do you want to pull over? Because I'm not sure if you're flirting with
God,
me or
I
what.
can only imagine how awkward that would
Well, we dated briefly, but that's a long story. But she said, I was like, "I can't believe you haven't seen Dr. Caligari." And I was like, "Oh, fuck, you mean the 89 Caligari?" And so remedied that immediately. And it was a trip then. It's definitely a trip now. Like you said, I always say double this one up with Richard Elfman's The Forbidden Zone for a really good cult double bill. These both movies weird as fuck. You have to be in the right frame of mind. You say you have to be high, but I don't do drugs.
This was my first time experiencing it the proper way. So
okay, yeah,
because I go way back. I saw it on the VHS in '90. I own the Laserdisc, of course, the 4K, and I know someone mentioned it's already going for big bucks now. Yeah, because I think they're only repressing the DVD or the Blu-ray, but there is a standard release coming.
Yes. I'm really excited to hear everybody's opinion when they experience this for the first time.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, well, it'll probably even more we'll experience it when it's the wide version. So
yeah,
now it's just
I definitely need to do mushrooms with Richard and show him this movie because I think he would lose his shit.
See, my double feature, but that's probably because I'm not a huge Forbidden, the Elfman movie. I go this and Eraserhead. They're just mindfuck. And you got to do Eraserhead second.
Eraserhead's a good one, man. Yeah. I love that fucking movie.
And then you could be high all day.
In my heart right now, I want to say I prefer this. I like the tingles. Juice me. I'm a shiver boy. I got secret needles in my pokey globes. Come on, man. You could quote this movie.
Oh, no, it's absolutely. That's
show. But also just the imaginative sets. Just everything. If somebody attempted something like this now, it would be a lot of cheap CG. This movie just looks like you're stepping into an alien world. Yeah. It's really hard to recreate this. We get a lot of weird movies like this, but not. I don't know. It's not quite the same, and I just like it. It's another one I can only recommend to a very specific group of people. I think something like this really should have that Rocky Horror midnight movie kind of run where you just dress up as characters. I think it would be a fucking blast.
That would be fun. Yeah.
There's just, like I said, it's one of the most quotable cult movies you could possibly find. And I love it. Double it up with Cafe Flesh. Now, I know that's an adult movie, but that's also one of those films that's just kind of batshit in its own right. I love this director, Steven Saadian. I'd love to interview him. Big fan of his work. And you just need to go into it. It's a movie you experience. I think it's a ton of fun. I'm a little more. I think you need to see it once. It gets a very.
That's what I was going to say
for me. You won't be bored. I'll put it that way.
You said you have a hard time recommending it to people. This is one. It's like you need to watch it once. Yeah, that's my feeling on that.
experience it at least once in your life and see where you fall. But
Because it legitimately is an experience, and this is a movie a lot of people will watch once, trip the fuck out, and never watch it again. But it's
I can definitely see if you are like enhanced with something that would, yeah, like what the hell is going on right now? I'm sinking into my goddamn couch, I don't like it.
I
But
had a great time.
yeah. I mean, the fact that we have this on Blu-ray now is wild.
4K.
4K, yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
I own it, Dan.
Well, I will be getting it soon.
Not
but,
the 4K.
Well, how do you know what I'm gonna?
You're gonna spend $200 on it.
I might spend $200.
You know what? I'm gonna bully you into that shit.
I might very well, damn well spend that because this is a classic movie, Todd.
Could have just listened to me and bought it when I told you.
It tickles my fuzzy button. What can I say? It's a great movie. We gotta make those shirts.
I know that's great. It's disgusting when he says that. I know. All right.
Did
we rate it?
From the movie?
Let's rate it.
No, we didn't. So as far as
fuck it, I'm just straight up.
As far as these types of movies, weird ass cult films like this, it is not for everybody, but it's a 5 in its own right. You've never seen anything like it before. So
yeah. I'm a 4 out of 5 with room to grow.
There we go. So take the trip with Dr. Caligari, coming from Mondo Macabro. I don't have the exact date. I believe in a month.
Yeah, it's not too far off because the other one sold out so quick. Like I said, I wouldn't told Dan to buy it if he wanted it. June 13th, 4 weeks.
Okay, sweet. So there you go. Get it then. And yeah. And also there was a question or comment a little bit earlier. We will have a Vinegar Syndrome halfway sale show.
Yeah, I'll put the link up tomorrow.
This actually might be my biggest one in a while because I've been banking gift cards and I'm ready to rock. So
mine's gonna be tiny.
Well, because you already paid whatever the fuck that was to, yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, do you need to buy anything? What is
There'll be two VSAs. I think there's a VSA box for the first time.
Oh, okay.
So there's at least 3 things, like catalog wise. I don't think there's anything like that I'm planning on that I haven't already like got, because I've been doing like the partner labels when they come out because I get that half off immediately, so there's no need for me to wait. So
yeah, I wait until stuff's on sale now.
Well, half off is me waiting.
Yeah, well, you bought the subscription though. I'm just saying, I don't have a subscription, so
it's already saving me money and making me spend more.
That's what I'm saying. It's a trap, Todd.
No, but it's not though, because I still would have bought them, and I would have bought them on sale. But now I just bought them on sale right when they came out.
Yeah,
same price.
Well, I'm not shaming you. I still spend it, but yeah, I'm gonna have a big haul. Although some of it will be partner label stuff. Actually,
someone actually asked if partner label stuff was half off too, and yes, it is. Yeah. Same rules apply though. Like the last month or 2 months aren't included.
It's at least 2 months. I don't know if it's 3 months.
No, Vinegar. So the other one's the long. Severn has the long one. I think they're 2 months.
2 months.
But before we do that and get out to our other. Our post show, me and Kruger, we're going to talk a little bit about Slasher.
We got one more review.
Yeah, you're missing the movie.
What am I missing?
I'll be watching, Todd.
Oh, maybe that's why I forgot. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. Damn, Todd.
Tipping your hat.
I know.
You're still at Dr. Caligari's seat.
I know. I thought we ended on a high note. I mean, maybe we are ending on a high note.
Yeah,
we might.
There's no covering it up now, dog.
Well, I don't know with this one. All right. So from director Eric Bernard comes I'll Be Watching. And I'll be watching after her tech genius husband leaves on a work trip. Julie, still mourning the loss of her sister, is trapped in their new isolated home and must fight her own fears to stay alive. So obviously you hate it, Todd. But I'm curious why, because I didn't think it was that bad. I do have criticisms though, but
No,
why did
I
you hate
didn't.
this one so
I
much?
didn't hate it. I was just talking some shit. It was a perfectly good Lifetime movie. If it was a Lifetime movie, I would have really liked it. It's not great. It has a cheap look, but I mean, yeah, you would have hated this one, Kruger, like strongly.
Glad I skipped it.
Yes,
Because as soon as you said Lifetime movie,
Yeah.
I was already the fuck out.
but
I
I
think that's a little harsh, to be
I
honest.
like
I mean,
Lifetime movies though, so
well, I thought this was a good kind of, old fashioned, just kind of suspense movie. Is it all in her head? Who's fucking with her? I dug it. I actually really dug it. I thought it was well made. I thought the actors, real life married couple once again, Eliza Taylor and Bob Marley, who played Marcus, her husband. There's some good twists and turns. My biggest issue was I didn't feel like the ending was entirely satisfying for me. I mean, it does kind of end definitively, but I don't know. I felt like, man, you really had me, and I don't know if the ending kind of got me like I was hoping it would. But there's twists, there's turns. I thought this movie held my interest perfectly well. David Keefe plays the sheriff, and holy shit, does he look old. Maybe I haven't seen him in anything, but David Keefe just kind of turned into a grandpa overnight, it seems. But I thought the back and forth, the mind fuckery and everything, I thought worked really well. It's not a horrifying film. It's not a new suspense classic, but up to a point, I actually really dug it. Just kind of old fashioned. There is kind of another element to this that I won't spoil for you, but you could argue it's kind of sort of genre blending a little bit, but yeah, I enjoyed this. I felt like it just needed a little bit more.
it's because you finally
expanding.
felt. I'm not going to expose this all the way, or because I don't want to spoil anything, but it kind of vindicates your fears, Dan. You're like, this is why I don't use that shit. Just saying.
Well, yeah. Well, Dan's going to be in a cabin somewhere, being the only last hope for humanity. You'll be dead in the first 2 minutes, Todd. So, just saying. But
you saw me use that once when you were here, right? One time at all?
Yeah, you did.
No, when?
You every morning.
Let me in on what the fuck you're talking about.
It's a spoiler, so we can't. We'll move on.
Well, it's a light spoiler, but yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I have it on good authority. You'll want to turn into our good friend, the Real Fifth Beatles podcast this weekend, where he's going to not talk about that specifically, but some similar stuff. So you won't want to miss that this Friday. All right. So back to the film, though. Yeah. Sometimes I'm good with just simple, basic, is it in her head? Who's doing this? Is the husband behind it? Is he not? There's a lot of red herrings thrown in there. I enjoyed it. I really didn't. I thought it was a pretty solid movie, and I would go higher if I thought the ending needed to just pop a little bit more. That's my big issue.
It was very 90s suspense thriller.
Yeah, and I was feeling it this time. I dug it. So
I think you liked it better.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I think you liked it better than me, but I wasn't bummed I watched it. I mean, I thought it could have. It like the Lifetime movie, like I brought it up, the look and feel mostly. Really the look, but I also get what you mean.
Chris has a point in the chat, though. I would not call this movie cheesy. And the kind of those movies you're referencing for Lifetime, they are a little bit more on the cheesy side of things.
Yeah, they can. Well, it depends. There's the two kinds. There's the cheesy ones, and they have the ones that are trying to be serious. Because this I did laugh a few times through in this movie. Can't say it's devoid of cheese.
The mailman.
There's a few times besides him, but yeah. But it's one like I wouldn't recommend it to Kruger. But if you are a fan of those '90s, suspense films, I don't want to compare it to any of them, so I'm not going to name any good ones. But I think it's worth a watch that way.
If you ever watched a movie, like I started doing Sling Blade quotes and cracking myself up, but then I'm looking around for somebody else to laugh and they're not there. If you watch this movie, you may see where that will pop up. But all right, so I'm at 3. I do think it's a little bit above average, and who knows, it might have even been a more of a gem if it brought it home a little bit more. But yeah, I'm at 3.
And I thought Dan liked it a lot more than me, but because I have 3 down also.
Oh, well, I still feel like I did, but all right.
It sounded like you did. I expected higher.
You sounded like you hated it. So
I was ready to get to the next show, honestly.
All right.
Slasher. See, that's where I left.
So I'm going to temporarily bow out because I'm not finished Slasher, but I do want to finish it. So I'll be watching you guys.
All right.
I'll man the chat.
All right.
AKA hijack the chat. All right.
Enjoy Ed Harris.
No, thank you.
Well, just in general, because I wasn't. Because you talked the first episode, didn't you guys?
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, we talked the first couple.
Yeah. So I wasn't here for that, but I really like that they're switching it up this season and we're doing like a little historical time period because it's. I think it did it good. And the fact that there was a Jack the Ripper story being intertwined into the story too, I really like the historical aspect of that. And as like every season of Slasher, I end up liking the characters. I think they always have enough depth to them, enough going on to where there's good and bad in each character, and that's why it is such a fun guessing game to try to figure out who the killer is. And this season, honestly, on top, like it's not my favorite season out of all of them, not even close. But it does effectively have you guessing and thinking that you know who the killer is, and then they fucking kill that person off. And then you think you know what's going on, and they take you for a swerve. And that's been one of my favorite things about this season, just in general. As far as the kills go on this season as a whole, things did get stronger. Like we start off with one really like what they do. The Jack the Ripper character is absolutely fucking brutal. But then it kind of mellows down a little bit. But then towards the end, the scene involving the morgue with the chick fucking having dead body parts stitched onto her, and also the final kill in the show, I thought was really, really cool. And how like everybody, gathered together to pop this motherfucker's eyeballs out and just like scratch and claw at his head. But like if you are going into the season expecting kills that were as good as season 4, 3, or 2, or even 1, this does have probably the worst kills, I think, out of all of the shows combined. But it does a good job with you guessing. I like the look of the killer too. It very simple design, just a black veil over their face, but made for some cool shots of whenever the killer did appear, or when they were running away and the veil was kind of flowing in the wind. Lots of cool stuff with that, cool stuff visually. And I also really like the set designs. They did a really good job of encompassing that 1800s. Were they in Britain? I don't even know where the fuck they were.
We were in a make-believe land.
Well, yeah, was it? Okay.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. The casting, it's its own reality.
Yeah, no, for sure. But Yeah, as a whole, I really liked it as a season. But again, I kind of have to compare it to past seasons too. And if I was ranking all of them, I'm a kill
Bottom.
and gore guy. This would probably be towards the bottom. But still, I'm still happy with what the show's giving me, and I'm gonna watch. And I every fucking Thursday was religiously watching each episode. And I was looking forward to it every single week. So I'll say, if you're a fan of the show, you're still going to be satisfied, but just don't go in there expecting the best season, because it's not. And I honestly I really like the ending a lot. I was kind of suspecting it was going to be the girl with the Cinderella story going on, but they kind of threw me for a loop a couple of times too. And then there was a point where when she sets her sister up to be murdered, that's when I kind of realized, all right, that's definitely her. And then the other, see, my theory, Todd, was that the main killer, the widow, and the widow of Jack the Ripper, which was, kind of fitting, and they kind of gave it away, if you were just sitting there thinking about it. But at the same time, all the swerves and stuff had me not really expecting it to be her. And then when all the paranormal stuff was going on, I thought she was being possessed by the spirit of Mary Beth, and like she wasn't conscious while she was doing it. And then like she would wake up and be like, what the fuck? And then, kind of have to scurry back. But I thought they were going to go with a possession angle. And unfortunately, and I think if they would have went with the possession angle instead of what, we got, that would have been that would have made me like the season just a little bit more, because it was something that had never been done before.
I get that. I'm the opposite. I was not a fan of this season. For me, it lost steam about halfway through. It already had a hurdle for me. I mean, you've heard me say it before. I'm not a fan of a lot of modern period pieces. This, while better than the full moon ones, it had that cheap feel, and I was like, I let it slide the first four, and then it just got to a point though. I was like, I'm not feeling it anymore. And I don't know if it is, and because we've talked about this before, the difference between watching a show weekly and binging.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the first 3 weekly, and then I binged the last ones to do the show. So I don't know if that, like, I didn't.
I could see that, because like there was some episodes that weren't like, or there was like a stretch, I think, in the middle of the season where I was just like, all right, I really hope things get better, because they're fine, but I expect more out of this fucking show.
And then putting them all together in a 3-hour block didn't help.
Yeah.
But I mean, I couldn't get into it. I liked definitely the first 3. And I'm pretty sure I like the 4th one too. But after that, it just kind of lost.
So you didn't care for the ending?
The ending was cool, but I mean, it felt like, it's something that like we haven't seen before, that actual killing, but it was cool. I thought it was very cool looking in the way.
I just thought it was cool that they went, like, when they were all ganging up on him, like when he finally fell, that like you saw like pieces of his hair and his flesh kind of ripped off and shit. I just thought it, because I've never seen, what was it, like 4 people gang up on a motherfucker while he's getting his eyeballs, shoved in. They're all tearing at his head. But yeah, I mean, I can see why people would be disappointed in this season, especially after, I think season 4 was just so much fun with fucking David Cronenberg in there. You had somebody get fucking hot or like molten gold poured on their fucking head. Like there was so many iconic kills in that last season, and then this one, there really wasn't a single kill other than the first and the last kill, honestly, that were halfway decent. But at the same time, I hope this fucking we just keep getting more of these though, because I think it is good for Shudder, especially that they have this property now for us to look forward to one of these every other year. I think that I hope it continues, and maybe let's not do fucking
Period pieces.
well, no. I think period pieces could be very, very awesome for the fucking season. Like you throw a 80s summer camp fucking season in there, like I'm all about that. Or like a 70s Texas setting. Like they're
that'd be cool.
Yeah, I hope, but I think they should stick with like periods of horror that like people would be nostalgic to. So like like a 90s small town one, or that kind of like models Scream. I think that stuff like that, or fucking 80s summer camp one. I hope we get some seasons like that, but I mean, overall, probably the worst season we've gotten so far, but I still liked it, and I'm still looking forward to more of this show. So you got anything else on this?
No. I guess we can bring.
Let's summon Dan. Say massage Paula 3 times.
What's up?
It's funny. I started doing the thumbs up a lot now because Ozzy has a weird thing where every time I do it, if you saw on the Monday show, it just started weirding him out. So I kept doing thumbs up. Then we were doing the wink and the gun. So
I don't know what the fuck you guys do on Farce. Some strange shit. Well, that's.
Sorry, Krieger, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say that's all we got for tonight, right?
Yeah. Well, we got one more top.
Oh no, hold on. The trailer.
That's right.
We almost
we do. We have a trailer to react to.
Let me just get this all up and
all
set
right,
up.
So I'm pretty fucking hyped for this goddamn thing. Just because Willy's Wonderland got me kind of excited for the concept of this. I don't play the video games. I think they're they've always just seemed kind of kiddish for me to want to go and play them. But I think in a movie setting, it could be a lot of fun. And I don't think it's going to be on the level of Willy's Wonderland because it doesn't have fucking Nicolas Cage in it. But I'm down for more.
It is a kid's movie, isn't it?
Is it? I'm not sure.
Well, I will say that I know Dan doesn't like anyone putting over Blumhouse, but I have to say it's a smart move to do it day and date with Peacock and theatrical, because that October weekend, that's not going to keep kids from going to the movies to see it. It's going to be one people will go out to see. It didn't hurt Halloween Kills at all. No. So this has an October date? October 27th, Peacock and theatrical. And I think that's what we're going to keep getting from Blumhouse in October. Because if this model keeps working, Yeah. All right, so Dan will watch it at home while we go to the theaters to see it, I'm sure. Yeah, I think I definitely want to see it on the big screen, but I don't know. We'll see how well the trailer looks. It's a teaser, 47 seconds. Let's go. All right, ain't much.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where fantasy and fun come to life. Hit it, guys.
All right, at least it looks like old school Chuck E. Cheese.
It means you've been selected as Freddy's newest security guard.
Hello?
We're going to have so much fun together.
Hey,
Matthew Lillard, right?
Yeah. Good enough for me. Yeah, I want to see it for sure in the theater. That looks like it could be fun. Ben said that he thinks it's PG-13. If it had an R rating, I mean, I'm fucking there day one. But
yeah, I could totally see it getting PG-13.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, because I don't. Like I said, I've never played the game, so I don't know if they're graphic or anything like that. But
Yeah, I haven't either.
I know that they're really popular with kids. So
I know the concept, and the concept's over, which is funny because the concept's the same thing every fucking kid who ever walked into a Showbiz Pizza or Chuck E. Cheese thought. What if these things came to life? So
yeah.
I know everyone puts over them as like the originators, but yeah, whatever.
what Willy's Wonderland, though, man.
Right.
Like that, I love that fucking movie. So if this is half as good as that, I'll be happy with it. Maybe I'll even be enticed to pop one of the video games in.
But you're not going to see them rip anybody's dicks off or anything, really gory. Then I guess so. More Goosebumps is kind of what I'm assuming. Although that looks like it could go either way from the teaser. I don't know.
Yeah. They could go Megan style. Did you ever actually watch the R-rated Megan footage?
So
makes a big difference in that one in the elevator kill.
The elevator kill, it does make a difference, and the ear thing does look a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I was hoping for like just a fucking, more.
Right.
Because, dude, I swear to God, Bloody Disgusting put out that article and it made it say, like, they said it was a different body count. Straight up said there was a different body count. And, like, yeah, there was. And they said significantly. But
that's not what I heard.
Yeah,
I mean, I heard them say it, but that's not what I heard from people.
No. The movie doesn't really like it. Just one kill looks a little bit more gory, and then there's like an ear scene that's extended a little bit.
No, it's more than a little more gory. One is completely bloodless, and the other is covered in blood.
Yeah.
So it might have been a refilmed one, which I'll give them props if that's what they did. But it's definitely CG, but it's
see. I had enough issues with that movie that I don't think that's going to change anything. I don't hate that movie. It's not the 1K. Worst.
Oh shit!
Oh, there we go.
Well, now I
for now
because I don't have the video.
But
thank you, Chris, for saying to check it.
All right, thank you. Who was the last?
Fucking A, guys.
Thank you. It
sucks that Pugs isn't here. God damn it.
He will be back shortly. Yeah. Fighting crime.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I forgot I was like...
He's making more trophies for Schlack to fucking smash.
I was gonna check something. All right. On that note,
we will be on Patreon.
God damn it, Dan! Fuck you. Just talk. I
can't tell. You're all over the place. I thought it was a cue.
I was literally starting to talk, asshole.
Patreon top secret review. This is a one that you won't want to miss because it's a big one, so you want to hear about it. And we'll hang out after that as well.
Ben figured out where Pugs is. He's making Cool Duder's chainsaw truck.
That's fucking great, Ben.
I wish it was just a joke and Cool Duder would show up in a parking lot somewhere. Just, hi, is this the Chainsaw Awards? I'm getting one. They're giving me an award.
I hope he starts.
He sounds like High Pitch Will.
Right. I hope he starts wearing a hat and mocking Dan. That would be awesome.
He needs to wear a hat.
I
will send him a hat. Have you seen Cool Duder's head?
Your old hat.
Oh no, not my hat.
You're gonna see like nasty. Smell the
That hat is just gonna like evaporate when it hits his head. I don't get people like at some point just shave your head. I'm bald. I knew it. I'm not gonna walk around looking like Ronald McDonald in a microwave.
Brother, like, I've seen some fucking pictures of you with long hair, and
I know, and I gave up.
See how proud he sounds when he says that?
But it took a while for you to.
Anything you saw with long hair is probably a decade old, though. But yeah, it's been a long time.
I don't want to call out the person I think he was looking like, but
well, fuck you, Ted.
But that thing,
the shenanigans. Well, I just assume the shenanigans continue on Patreon. Patreon.com/flesh.
Oh, I guess now we have to have a 1K celebration over there.
All starts at $1. That's right, $1.
Well, I don't know. We'll do something now.
Cool. Well, we'll see you over on the Patreon, guys.
Wait, I should probably share the link before we go in the chat.
Yeah.
While I do that, I'm just gonna
wait. Share what link are we talking about here?
link so if they want to go join Patreon.
Oh, okay. I thought that meant the link to the. Yeah.
Why do I need to tell you everything, Dan? God damn it.
Fuck you, Todd. Always so hostile, Todd.
Well,
We're
make it
hostile
easy.
because of your fucking attitude.
You're out of control, Dan.
I am delightful.
Be sure to join us on this shit. It might be
I'm
interesting.
putting my 2 weeks notice in.
Oh, what's up, zombie? You're coming in at the end, but what's up?
All right. Well, now we're heading to Patreon. Dan, get us the hell out of here.
Good night. We'll see you over on Patreon for the top secret review and hangout 1K celebration.
Good evening.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.